I bow to all the seekers of truth. This last song that you have heard was written by a poet called Namadeva in the year 12th century. And it says that I will go and ask Mother for my yoga, for the union with the divine. For so many years, this is a folklore. People have been singing in the villages of Maharashtra this song and has described so clearly what I will do when I will go and ask for my yoga. Jogava is yoga and I means mother in Marathi language. And he has very clearly described what I will be doing to achieve that yoga. I wish we had time more to explain to you the beauty of this song. And it's sung everywhere in a village you go, they all sing this song. So this was known to India since long, that you have to achieve your yoga, your union with the divine. The modern yogas are just some sort of a V part of something. That is really not yoga, I would say. Like Raja Yoga these days is practiced in a very wrong way, where they are doing some sort of exercises which are not spontaneous. Like if you start your car with the ignition, the car starts moving by itself and the machinery also moves with it spontaneously. You don't have to do any exercise for that. In the same way, when the Kundalini rises to achieve this union, the machinery which is within you, which you will see here also, start acting automatically because it is built for that. And then it creates a situation by which the Kundalini rises, and then when it passes through one of the centers, it goes into augmentation, is to constriction. Again, the upper chakra relaxes. Then when she passes through that, again there is augmentation. But in the so-called Raja Yoga, it is very absurd that without starting the Kundalini, they are trying to stop the centers by putting constriction from outside. It would be something like, without starting the car, you remove the wheel or the steering wheel, spoiling the wheel as well. In the same way, we can say the Hatha Yoga that has come into being very popular these days is actually written by now Patanjali, who was an ancient saint long time back, thousands of years back, and it had Ashtanga, means there were eightfold. Out of that, a very wee bit, I would say, was the Yamaniyama, which is in that also. Very little was for the physical exercises. But that too was related to the Kundalini, that when the Kundalini is rising, if there is any physical problem on any center, then a particular asana was to be done. It's very systematic and scientific. It's not just do everything without understanding it. It's like taking the medicine from the whole medicine chest without understanding, without discrimination. And that's why many people tell me that through Hatha Yoga they got heart attacks. So naturally, because that's not Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga. Ha is the sun and the Tha is the moon. So is the yoga of sun and the moon. Not only of the sun, and what they do is throughout is nothing but the sunlight, which makes them very one-sided, imbalanced personalities. And the Hatha yogis are so hot-tempered, such liver and such heat, that you better approach them with a barge pole. Mostly they divorce their wives, they have no emotional life, and become very, very dry people. The reason is the other side, which is the emotional side, is not catered at all. But this is just a wee part of it. Later on he talks of thoughtless awareness, nirvichar samadhi, then the doubtless awareness, which is called as the nirvikalpa samadhi. This is what is Sahaja Yoga is, that when you rise, samadhi means awareness, which is enlightened. Awareness which is enlightened. So the human awareness expands and gets enlightened. This is the thing, main theme, main achievement of Patanjali Yoga. But I think some must have gone to some gurus, and in the beginning they must have learned certain asanas and they must have thrown out because thinking they are very money oriented or something like that. And they must have come to start these classes, which was all money oriented. While yoga has nothing to do with money. Because you are united with the divine power, which is all pervading. And all pervading power doesn't know money. Through this awakening of Kundalini, which is within you. In the triangular bone, as you see here clearly, I don't know if everybody can see through me, is this Kundalini, is a 3.5 coiled energy within us. The coil is called as Kundala in Sanskrit. That's why it's called as Kundalini. But some people say that it's a serpent energy. It is not. Because always all energies move in waves like this. That's why we can say that it looks like a serpent that is moving like in a wave. But it's not a serpent energy. It is the energy that moves like a serpent. And any energy, if you see it, it never moves straight. It always moves with a wavy pattern. So this energy is settled within us in the triangular bone. And it has to pass through 6 subtle centers, while the 7th center is below the Kundalini. And this is the center which is for all our excretion, inclusive of sex. So sex has nothing to do with your yoga. On the contrary, when the Kundalini is rising, all your excretory movements and excretory things just become dulled or sleep. And then the Kundalini rises. She passes through all these 6 centers, she nourishes them, she integrates them, and ultimately passes through the here into limbic area, which is a hollow place, and pierces through the 6th center here, which we call as the Brahmarandhra, meaning the whole of the Brahma, the all-pervading power. And then enters into the subtle energy which is controlling us, which is organizing us, which is doing all living work on this earth and in the whole universe, and also which loves us. This is how the connection takes place, and this is what is yoga. Yoga also has another meaning, is yukti. Yukti means the deftness. So the first thing you have to have, first phase is the yoga, where you get connected. And the second part is where you have to have the deftness of it, how to use it. When you have this power, how to use it, how to maneuver it, how to give it to others' realization, how to fix their realization, how to know about others, how to know about yourself, and how to correct the problems that are within you and which are without. This is the second part, which is called as yukti, meaning the trick, we can say, the trick of the deftness of this process of Kundalini awakening. Now, today we are going to talk about a little bit about the centers, so that you will have some idea to understand your subtle being. Now, the civilization that has grown outside in the West or anywhere is like a tree which is grown outside, and the knowledge we have is the knowledge of the tree, but we have no knowledge of the roots. And if you have lost our roots, the tree is about to give us a shock, may be destroyed also. So it is very important that we should know about our roots. And the roots I'm going to describe to you today, as I told you that you must keep your minds open to this knowledge. If it is proved, you have to accept it as honest people, but you have to be like a scientist, open your mind and listen to it and see for yourself if it works. And if it works, then you must accept it. Because it is for your benevolence. And I will, one by one, I'll tell you about the centers, how it helps. Now the first center I've already told you that is for the sex and for other excretion. So it goes into a balance as it is, once you get your realization. But before that the Kundalini rises and all the activities of this excretion stops at that time. This Kundalini rises through the second center, which we call as Swadhisthana. But actually the Swadhisthana is coming out of the third center, like a lotus comes out. So we'll first consider the second center, but actually it is the third in the movement of Kundalini. Now the second center is very important for modern times, because whatever we have discovered in science, or whatever futuric plans we made, everything is done by this center on the right side. It works very hard. Also, when we are thinking too much, this center has to convert the fat cells for the use of brain. That's the most important work it has got to do. And as today we are very much thinking about our futures, we are planning too much. As a result of that, the main job this poor center gets is to convert the cells, fat cells, for the use of the brain as grey cells. But at the same time, he has very important work, is to look after your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, and part of your intestines. So as you start thinking too much, the work shifts more towards converting the fat cells. And these other important functions of the organs are neglected, and ultimately sometimes they stop also. So the first thing that happens to people is they get liver problems. I'm told that Australia these days is suffering from hepatitis. It's due to too much thinking. Their livers are out and they are vulnerable for that. And as soon as some virus comes in contact with such a personality, they get into hepatitis. But if your liver is healthy, nothing can touch your liver and you can never get hepatitis. Now, nobody can believe that the heat that is generated in the body is absorbed by this liver. It absorbs it and transmits it into the bloodstream, in the water of bloodstream. Thus, the heat of the body goes away. This heat can rise if not allowed not absorbed by the liver, and rises higher, and people get from that many other troubles of the lungs, like asthma. Asthma is a direct effect of a bad liver. Also, such people who have it can reach the heart part, and people can get massive heart attacks. So the heat of the liver has to be controlled. So there are people who have overactive hearts and some people who have lethargic hearts. The overactive heart mostly comes from the people who think too much, who work on the right side. On the yellow line, which we call as the Pingala Nadi, is the channel of Surya, means the sun. And when it works too hard, then the heat is too much and can reach even up to the brain, and people can have paralysis So all kinds of things can happen with this liver, which doctors are not aware of. I did my medicine, and I was amazed to see that they see everything in such a superficial manner. Like, if you have some disease on the tree, they will treat the leaves. You have to go to the roots if you have to really get the tree all right. Then the other disease that is very common is of the pancreas, called as diabetes. Now, diabetes is also caused because of the neglect of this center that is entailed. This is manifested because of the work of the Swadhisthana chakra more on converting the fat cells. So, if you go to an Indian village, say, and if you ask them for tea, the tea that they make, sugar they take is, the measure is like this, that the spoon must stand at right angles in the sugar, otherwise it's not at all a tea, it's only water. And they drink that tea 3-4 times. Such a lot of sugar they consume, they never get diabetes. Because they don't think about future. They have worked today, eaten their food and slept off nicely. Next day again they are there for working. They don't go on worrying about tomorrow, what will happen, day after tomorrow, what will happen, and 1,000 years later, what will happen. Because the future doesn't exist. The past is finished, future doesn't exist, present is the main thing. But when we become very futuristic, this brain has to think for the future plans. And I don't know how many percentage of it materializes. Normally it does not. Because if the divine has another plan for you, it's no use meticulously working it out. And then you ultimately find the whole thing has fizzled out. The reason is you have not understood the plan of the divine. Then the third very serious problem is from the spleen. Spleen also is neglected when the Swadhisthana chakra works very hard. By that neglect, the spleen doesn't get sufficient energy to work out your emergencies. When there is an emergency, supposing you are eating your food and there is a red blood corpuscles are produced for the digestion, then you feel like running somewhere, maybe some emergency. So too much RBCs or red blood corpuscles are produced at that time, and you get a pain. I don't know why you have got the pain now, but you see, it was supposed to be for the digestion. And the people who lead a very hectic life, we do, all of us, and always in emergency. We are always in tension and in emergency. First thing you read the newspaper, you see so many died, there's so many earthquakes, horrible things have happened here and horrible things happened there. I mean, any human being would be nervous to read that. I think we are getting immune, but still the immunity is not that we cannot feel the shocks of all these things happening. And with that shock, then we just jump we are late, so time bound, everything, so we have to have a breakfast, we can't have a breakfast, so jump in the car, take the breakfast in our hand, the wife is shouting, oh, you didn't have your breakfast, and then the car is driven through a very heavy traffic, and you are blaming the traffic, and somehow you go to your office, and there's the boss who's shouting at you. So all these things work out. Poor thing, this spleen of yours feels, what a man this one is. He has all emergencies, so hectic, God knows when he is going to ask for more RBCs and all that. At this time, if there is any movement towards the left side, by any shock, by any unhappiness, by any death in the family or anything like that, or a false guru also, you get this center caught up on the spleen. And thus you get a very serious disease called as blood cancer. And this blood cancer is absolutely curable in Sahaja. We have many cases who were certified, who would be dead within 1 month's time, are still kicking and living for the last 6 to 7 years. So this can be cured because the Kundalini passes through your Swadhisthana chakra, gives it a balance, nourishes it, and your attention, which is so much on the right side, comes in the center and you feel all right. Like that, there are so many other things which can be cured very easily. If you want to know how cancer is caused, is also very interesting. And now the paper on cancer is now read in America and Russia, all these places where they are quite advanced. And they have accepted Sahaja Yoga as something very enlightening. But by the time it is established as something very scientific, some people have to get their realization. Without realization, you cannot work it out. So the cancer is called, say, this is the center, and this is the left side and the right side, and in the center is the Sushumna Nadi, the central Nadi that you see there. Now, if you start using too much the right side, it moves like that, or the left side, it moves like that. At this point, it is vulnerable to cancer, because already your relationship with the whole is broken. At that time, suddenly, something happens on the left, and it's cut off completely. Then the cells on any center or in many centers can start galloping and can become very ego-oriented, and they become malignant. They start growing. Like in the nose, they start growing so fast that they can cover your eye, they can cover your ear and everything. All the other cells are not proportionately growing. And so that's how they obliterate the work of all the other organs. This is how cancer is set. Now when Kundalini passes, she goes through this and just puts it right like that. The first our attention comes to the center. And then she nourishes the center. Cancer is such a common case in the West especially. Such a lot of people are suffering from cancer because they are very one-sided people. If they are left-sided, emotional people, then to the extreme they are. They take to drugs, of such drugs which are very injurious. They take to alcoholism, which are very injurious, takes them to the left side. Or they take to the right side and suddenly any shock they can't bear. So they go to the left side. So there's no balance. And this balance is only established through Kundalini awakening. Of course, in one lecture I cannot tell you all about all these chakras. But I have told you about one chakra which is very important and extremely active in these modern times. And that is why Sahaja Yoga was so much needed in modern times. It had to work out all these diseases. And so far the news about AIDS is also good, that the people whom we cured are still doing well in Perth. And I hope there will be more people of AIDS who will come to Sahaja Yoga and will have that much willpower to practice it and establish themselves again on this earth. So this is it that we have to work out. For ourselves, first of all, we have to establish ourselves, and we can easily help other people, because Sahaja Yoga is for your benevolence, your physical, your mental, emotional, spiritual, all benevolence, and that you get empowered. Only by saying I am born again doesn't mean anything. You have to have the powers of a person who is born again. And when that happens, you must learn how to use it, this power that you have got. Otherwise it is useless. It is like the story of Christ who said that some of them fell on a marshy land and they just sprouted and finished. Like that should not happen. We have to grow into trees to help others in a big way, and can be done. And I'm surprised in a country like Russia it's working out so well. So why not here, where we had all the freedom to understand the truth? So we have to be truth-oriented, not success-oriented, money-oriented, or science-oriented, but we have to be truth-oriented, which integrates everything. Every religion is integrated in it. Every religion is explained in it. All the mistakes human beings have created in those religions can be seen clearly. And what has gone wrong with human beings also could be seen very clearly if you get your self-realization. And this is what has to happen. And again today we will have some time for questioning. Like yesterday, I have to again request you that I am not here to challenge you in any way or to take away anything from you, but I am just here to tell you what you are, what beauty you are, what glory you are, to enjoy yourself, and for the emancipation of the world, what you can do. May God bless you. Oh, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. Hello. Now ask me questions. Please.
Good evening. I've come to the stage in my life that I might need glasses, and I don't want to wear them. I think they should be better wise. I wondered whether Sahaja could help me, but I see a few of you people are wearing glasses too, so I start to wonder.
What's she saying?
She says she's come to the stage in her life where she needs to wear glasses.
Yeah.
She was hoping that Sahaja Yoga would help, but she sees some of us are wearing glasses.
Yeah. You see, we are all old people also. You see, I never used to wear glasses for the last, I think, 3 years or 4 years I've started because of these lights on your eyes all the time, you see, hitting you for hours together. I don't need it much, but I do need it. Doesn't matter. What is the harm in wearing glasses? If you have to wear, it's all right. And it's not so important. What is important is to be the spiritual. You see, these are the blessings of the modern times, to face these lights. None of them had to face these lights, you see. But I have to face them. It's all right. I've accepted them as a part of the game.
Mother, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about myself not wanting to wear glasses.
All right, it's not so important. You look nice with glasses, I think. We should look our age, isn't it? That's a good idea. To be matured is good.
What does one have to do to sustain self-realization?
You see, to sustain self-realization, we have luckily some very good centers. Even in Melbourne, we have very nice people who have worked through it. And we have centers here where you could go. They have got programs, I think every Friday. When do you have programs? In Melbourne? When do you have programs every week?
There is a sheet available with all of the
All right. You all have a sheet with you, which you can see for yourself. You have to spare some time. No money, nothing else. Except that you have to spare some time. And if you go to these centers, I think within 1 month's time, you can be an expert yourself. No problem. They have all become experts, and why not you? You all can become experts. Any age, any race, any sex, anybody who wants to do it can do it and really can work it out very well. And you'll be surprised after that you keep such good health, such beautiful continence, such good temperament. Really become a beautiful person and you enjoy your virtues. Automatically. I don't tell, don't do. No 10 commandments I'm going to tell you, but it will work within yourself automatically. Because the religion is enlightened within you. As you see, this green part of the body is the void, we call it, or the place as we call it in Sanskrit, Bhavasaga. These are our valencies, 10 valencies we have got as a human being. They get enlightened. And nobody has to tell you anything. As saints were never told to do right things, they just did it. In the same way, you become so powerful that you do always the right things and you are so compassionate at the same time and so righteous. Yeah.
Explain what is self-realization.
Yeah. What is self-realization? When we say I don't like it, I won't have it, then we do not know what is this I is. It might be your conditioning or it might be your ego. Depends on. Like we say, this is my hand, this is my body. But we don't say this is I body. So what is this I? Where do we end it? We all the time saying my. This is my conditioning, this is my ego. Where is this I? Where is it lost? In the medical terminology, they say it's an autonomous nervous system, which now we have told you about these 3 channels are the suppliers of autonomous nervous system. But who is this auto? Just a name, auto, but who is the auto? So then we turn to a point where all the scriptures, all the saints have said that you are to be born again, that you have to be the spirit. And that spirit is in your heart. Now this spirit has to become available to us in our attention. So it enlightens our attention. Now the spirit has the nature that it is absolute truth. It knows absolute truth. So when you get your self-realization, the spirit comes to your attention, and on your central nervous system, you can feel the truth. Want to know about anyone? Just ask the question like a computer, it starts working, and if you feel the cool breeze, then know it's true. If it is hot, then it's not all right, and if it is blistering, then it's absolutely wrong. It's burning, then it's absolutely wrong. It's all right. I think they can hear me. Oh no? My voice is not going? All right. Exit. All right. So then, we have the self is the spirit within us, which is the reflection of God Almighty. And the Kundalini is a reflection of the power of God, the desire of God, which we call as Holy Ghost in the Bible, and Adi Shakti in the Sanskrit language. She is the primordial mother. She is reflected in our Kundalini. So when these two meet, then the yoga takes place. The spirit is in nature also collective being. That is, the one God Almighty is reflected in everyone. So that is a collective being. And it can feel the collectivity. That is, when you put hands to anyone, you can feel another person. So you become a collective personality. And the third quality of the spirit is, it is joy. Joy is not the duality of happiness and unhappiness, but you become joy which has no duality. And when you become joy, then you see the whole thing as a witness. So, self-realization is that the spirit comes into your attention. The light of the spirit comes into your attention. Also you know about yourself, your centers, and you know the centers of others because the spirit is a collective being. So you develop a new awareness called as collective consciousness. And the spirit is the source of peace. So you become a peaceful personality. Absolutely peaceful. People talk of peace, but there is no peace within. There are so many things one can say about self-realization. And I must have given thousands of lectures only on the self. So in this short time, I hope you'll be contented with it. Later on you can listen to my tapes and things and you can understand it more. Please stand up, please.
does it seem to be so difficult to become self-realized?
It's the easiest. Did I say it is difficult? Sahaja means easy. Saha means born, ja means born, saha means with. With you is born the right to be united, to get the yoga. So it's the easiest thing. It's not at all difficult because it is so vital. Yes? What's it?
She feels it is easy for you because you're already on the path. But if
No, it's easy for you. It's easiest for you, all right? It's easiest for everyone. I'm not talking about myself. I'm already there. But it's very easy for you. That's the best part of it. It cannot be difficult because it is so vital. Say our breathing is so vital. And if the breathing was so difficult, we would not have existed. So our evolution is so easy. Has to be. The way we have become human beings, we have to become superhuman beings too. It's the easiest thing, but some people always will say it's the difficult one because maybe they want to frighten you and maybe they are more interested in getting money from you or something like that because they don't know it's the easiest. Now, should we have the self-realization? There are two conditions, as I told you yesterday and today. Very simple two conditions you have to fulfill. One of them is that you have to forget the past at this moment and you have not to blame yourself for anything and you are not to feel guilty at all. As I told you yesterday, it's only human beings can commit mistakes, not God. And if you have committed mistakes, doesn't matter, because the divine power is the ocean of love and the ocean of forgiveness. And we cannot do anything which cannot be dissolved by the greatness of that forgiveness. So please forgive yourself. Absolutely don't feel guilty. Don't count your mistakes. That is one thing. And the second thing is very important, that you have to forgive everyone. Now to forgive everyone, some people might say it is very difficult. But whether you forgive or don't forgive, you don't do anything. It's a myth. But if you don't forgive, then you play into wrong hands. So just to forgive, without counting people whom you have to forgive, without finding out what you have to forgive, just in a general way you have to say, I forgive everyone. These are the two conditions which are very easy, I think. Now, another thing I have to request you is to take out your shoes so that the Mother Earth can help us. Now, as I told you, the left and the right side. The left side is the power of desire. The right side is the power of action. Action, mental and physical. So we have to use both the hands in the proper direction, that you put your left hand towards me, which represents your desire to be self-realized. To put your left hand towards me like this. The right hand you'll have to put on your heart. First I will show you all the centers that you have to touch on the left hand side, and afterwards you can close your eyes and will achieve the ascent of the Kundalini. So now you put your left hand towards me, the right hand on the heart, and in the heart resides the spirit. The spirit is represented here, but the seat of the spirit is in the fontanelle bone area, in the soft bone which was there in your childhood. So actually you get the actualization of baptism by this happening. Now the second center you have to touch is the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. This is the center of your mastery, by which you become the master. Then you have to touch the lower portion of your abdomen on the left hand side again, which is the center of pure knowledge. Pure knowledge is the knowledge which manifests on your central nervous system. Whatever you achieve in your evolution is manifested on your central nervous system. So, you get the manifestation of the collective consciousness and a complete idea of the divine laws on your central nervous system when you get the pure knowledge. It's not the knowledge of the brain or knowledge of the book, but it's the knowledge on our nerves. That's called as Bodh. In the Buddhist style, it's called as Bodha. In the Vedas, it's called as Veda. And in the Christian science, in the early Christian science, they call it as Gna. We also say Jna, meaning the knowledge. And Gna is also said in some parts of India. So they called such people as Gnostics, which is described by Thomas when he was on his way from Egypt. He went down to India. So in Egypt he has put all this knowledge in a jar, which is discovered now. And he has described there that we don't have to suffer. The God Almighty is waiting for us in His kingdom, and He is the Father of all the fathers. He doesn't want us to suffer at all. And we must have the experience of self-realization. He has described it so clearly about Sahaja Yoga. So I'm happy that at this juncture, when we have started doing Sahaja Yoga, this book should be found out and should be published. Not only that, but I have also seen the television series of this gentleman, though he was very much condemned by the organized Christian religions, that they didn't like him to say like that, they didn't even want him to publish the book of Thomas. Now, then we raise our hand again up in the upper portion of our abdomen, on the left hand side. Then we raise our hand to our heart again. Then we raise our right hand in the corner of our neck and our shoulder and turn our head to the right. Now this center is the left Vishuddhi, as we call it. It's very important. Whenever you feel guilty or you say wrong mantras, this center is caught up and one may get spondylitis, might get the numbing of the hand, they call the frozen arm. Also angina, the lethargic heart, because of the obstruction here. So you have to turn your head to your right fully. And now you have to take your right hand on your forehead across. And you have to put down your head as much as you can, supported by your hand, and press it on both the sides, as we do it when we get headache. This is the center where you have to forgive others. You have to forgive others. Now, you have to take this hand back on the back side of your head and push your head on it upwards as far as you can take it, balancing on this hand nicely. Now, you have to stretch your hand and stretch your palm. And the center of your palm, you have to put it on top of the fontanelle bone area. And now bend your head as much as you can and stretch your fingers as much as you can, because there will be a proper pressure on your scalp. With that pressure you have to move your scalp, not your hand. Scalp has to be moved very carefully 7 times, because there are 7 seats of the 7 centers in your brain. So move the scalp very carefully 7 times, slowly. Please put both your feet apart from each other and left hand towards me, and just move it 7 times very slowly. That's all. We have to only do this much and it will all work out. So now you may close your eyes, and those who want to get rid of their glasses might be helped, because they can take out their glasses. Now, put your left hand towards me, please. Both the feet apart from each other. And you have to sit, not very bending or very straight, but in a very normal way that you sit. Put your left hand towards me and right hand on your heart. You can put it through your coats, is better, to your heart. Not so far, it's a little bit on the left side. So here, you close your eyes, and please don't open them till I tell you. You can remove your glasses till I tell you, please don't open your eyes. Now, here you have to ask me a question, very important question. In your heart, 3 times you please ask. You can call me Shri, Mataji or Mother. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask this question. It's like a computer, you have to get the answer. Now, if you are the spirit, you are your own guide, because you get the light in your attention and you become your own guide. You don't need any guru, you don't need any guide. So now you put your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen and press it hard. On the left hand side. We are working only on left hand side. Now here you ask a question. Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own guide? Ask this question 3 times. I respect your freedom, because you have to enjoy the ultimate freedom. So I cannot force pure knowledge on you. You have to ask for it. So now put your right hand in the lower portion of your abdomen, press it hard on the left hand side. And here you please say or ask 6 times, because this center has got 6 petals. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Mother, please give me pure knowledge. Say this 6 times, as this center has got 6 petals. Now, when you say this, the Kundalini starts moving upward. So we have to nourish our centers with our right hand, with our self-confidence. So now raise your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand side and press it hard. And to nourish the center with your self-confidence, you have to say, with full self-confidence you have to say, 10 times. Mother, I am my own master. Mother, I am my own master. Please say that 10 times. without feeling diffident about it. Now the greatest truth about you is that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not these emotions, and you are not this ego or conditionings, but you are the pure spirit. So now raise your right hand on your heart and please say it with self-confidence 12 times. Mother, I am the spirit. Mother, I am the spirit. Please say it 12 times. 12 times. The divine power, which is all pervading, is the power of love and is the ocean of bliss for us. And also it is the ocean of knowledge and joy. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness. And as I told you, we cannot commit any mistakes which cannot be dissolved by the power of this ocean of forgiveness. So now, please raise your right hand into the corner of your neck and your shoulder as far back as possible and turn your head to the right. Now here, I think this is the worst center in this group today. Here now, with full confidence, please say 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. Please say it 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty at all. As I have told you already, that you have to forgive everyone. And that even if you forgive or don't forgive, you don't do anything, it is a myth. But if you don't forgive, you play into wrong hands. So now please place your right hand on top of your forehead and put down your forehead as far as possible and press it hard. Put down your head as far as possible. Put your left hand towards me nicely and press it hard. And here, not how many times, but from your heart, you say, from your heart, you say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Please say it from your heart, it's very important. Yesterday I found some people did not say it, they didn't get their realization. We are not going to miss it out this time. So please say. Now, take back your right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head as much as you can. Here, you have to ask forgiveness from the Divine for your own satisfaction. You don't have to count your mistakes or whatever wrong you have done or feeling guilty at all. But just for your satisfaction, please push back your head as far as possible. And just say from your heart, O Divine, if I have done anything wrong, please forgive me. O Divine, if I have done anything wrong, please forgive me. That's all. Now, you have to stretch your hand. Stretch your palm properly and put it on top of your head, on the soft bone which was there in your childhood called as fontanelle bone area. Press it hard. Now it's important to push back your fingers. Here again, I cannot cross over your freedom. I respect it. So you have to ask for your self-realization. Press it hard. Move your scalps very slowly, clockwise 7 times. And you have to say 7 times, Mother, please give me my self-realization. 7 times you have to say, while moving your hand, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Bend your head. Please bend your head. You can do it better. Please bend your head. Press it hard. Push back your fingers. And say it 7 times. Now please take down your hand. Open your eyes, please, slowly. Now put your right hand like this towards me. And bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your fontanelle bone area. Now, not to touch it, but away from it. Above it. Some might get it quite far away. Some might get it here. You might get little hot air. Doesn't matter. So just see for yourself there's a cool breeze coming or not. You must forgive. Some people have not forgiven. If you don't forgive, it won't work out. Please forgive everyone. Now, put your left hand towards me, please. Put your right hand on top of your fontanelle bone area. Just see. Not just touching it, but away from it. I'm saying above it. And see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out. Please put down your head. That's the best way you can see it clearly. Put down your head. Now please put your right hand again, once again. Now bend your head and see for yourself if there's a cool breeze coming out of your fontanelle bone area. Now, you put your both the hands like this, push back your head and ask a question 3 times. Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost? Mother, is this the all-pervading power of God? Is this the all-pervading power of God's love? Or could be, Mother, is this the Parama Chaitanya? Ask any one of these questions 3 times. It's done. Now, bring down your hands, please. Put your hands like that. You can watch me without thinking. Now, those who have felt the cool breeze in their fingertips, or the hot also could be, or out of their fontanelle bone area, those who have felt it, please raise both your hands, please. The whole of Melbourne, may God bless you, all have become saints now, all self-realized people. But only you have to look after your self-realization. You have to, it's very delicate. I have to respect it and develop it. I'm so very happy that you people have got your realization. And now steady down. Do not get upset. In Sahaja Yoga, the door is open to everyone. There may be somebody who is not so good, who would not be kind to you, maybe something, doesn't matter. Don't have to worry. You just take to your own growth and to your own ascent. And don't worry about other things. It will all work out, I'm sure. Next time when I come, we'll have lots of people who are self-realized. You can also talk about it to your friends and bring them to the center. I'm sure you all will come to the follow-on program that they are having, and you will definitely ascend. May God bless you.